So, the activity we need to talk background or scenario. This chapter helps you understand how transport layer protocols and services support network data communication. So, the instructor will whisper a complex message to the first student in the group. An example of the message might our final exam will be given next Tuesday, February 5th at 2 p.m. in room 1151. That student whispered the message to the next student in the group. Each group followed this process until all the members of each group have heard the whispered message. Here are the rules to follow. You can whisper the message only once to your neighbor. The message must keep moving from one person to another with no skipping of participants. The instructor should ask student to keep time of the full message activity from first participants to last participants starting the message. The first or last person would mostly like to be best one to keep the time. The last student will say aloud exactly what he or she heard. The instructor will be restate the original message so that the group can compare it to the message that was delivered by the last student in the group. So, would the content of this message need to be fully correct when you receive them if you were depending on this message to drive your personal business calendars and schedule, etc.? If you were going to receive this message, especially when this message is all about your final exam, when was it happens, where, and what exact time. So, as a student, it is important for us to know that the exact time and or to deliver in us the exact time, date, and where the exam will be held. It is needed to be completely correct for me. So, would the length of the time taken to deliver the message be an important factor to sender and recipient? Would the length of the time taken to deliver the message be an important factor to send and recipient to the sender and the recipient? Is time important? Of course, yes, it is important. In delivering a message, it is important to to have to have a speed or less time because sometimes if you were sending a message for a people for a receiver with this too it take too much time, then it is being bored, it is boring for, and sometimes it can cause less tempered when you not note but notice that or note that it is make sure that that the message will be delivered in time and it is incomplete or it is completely because if you're delivering a message in the right time and it is not complete, so the delivery is not we call that is has nonsense. So that's my answer. So the activity we need to talk again. So for the background scenario, so note it is important that the instructor will whisper a complex message to the first student in the group. An example of the message might be, we are expecting a blizzard tomorrow. It should be arriving in the morning and the school will be delayed two hours, so bring your homework. The student whispered the message to the next student in the group. Each group follows those process until all the members of each group have heard the whispered message. Here are the rules you are to follow. So you can whisper the message in the short part of the neighbor and you can repeat the message part after verifying your neighbor heard the correct message. Small parts of the message may be checked and repeated again. So student will be assigned to time the entire activity. When the message has reached the end of the group, the last student will say aloud what she or he heard. Small parts of the message may be repeated, and the process can be restarted to ensure that all parts of the message are fully delivered and correct. The instructor will restate the original message to check the quality delivery. Would the content of this message need to clear and correct when you receive them? If you were depending on this message to drive your personal business calendar, studying schedule, etc., would the content of this message need to be clear and correct when you receive them? Of course, it is needed. When you receive a message, it is important that the message is clear and exactly correct on what the original message was. Because anything that changed to the original message on the process of delivery will change um will affect to the receiver. It becomes or it has a different meaning for the receiver. And it can and when you were depending to this kind of message to drive your business or personal calendar, studying schedule, etc., it can affect to that. As stated on the message, we're expecting a blizzard tomorrow. It should be arriving in the morning and school will be delayed for 2 hours, so bring your homework. So, the message is stated time. And if the message will be delivered wrongly, then there might be an effect or a lot effect to the personal or the studying schedule of the student. He may be go to the school even though there are if he might go to the school if the message he received is there's no blizzard in the morning. So it greatly affect their studying schedule. So would the length of time take to deliver the message be an important factor to the sender and recipient? Delivering a message takes time, but not but it may not a lot of time because message may be delivered on the right of time. When you were um when the time or when the message takes a lot of time, maybe there's something wrong within the message. Maybe there are factors that affect the message on why that it was too long. Then compare the introductory MA on this chapter 3 activity. What difference do you notice about the delivery of message? So on the first delivering of message, it is faster. But on the second delivery of message, it is um takes a lot of time because it is too long and then there is many things you need to consider. It is in you need to recheck all the message or all the parts of the message that are received or that are sending. What difference do you notice about the delivery of the message? So as I've said, um it is differ in time of delivery. So activity for chapter 9 activity TCP and UDP characteristic. Instruction drag each characteristic to its TCP UDP delivery method. So delivery method TCP and UDP. So less overhead, this is UDP. Connection less, it is UDP. Fast transmission requirement, UDP. Sequence message segment is TCP. No acknowledgement of receipt is UDP. And no order delivery is UDP. The TCP is guaranteed delivery, it has full flow control, order delivery, and session establishment. So check. So all the answer for the activity TCP and UDP characteristics of Chapter 9 are correct. So Activity 9 Part 1 TCP connection termination process. So instruction drag is description towards appropriate place. The image illustrates the three-way handshake of TCP establishment session. So send the scene. So going to be scene, then became scene arc, then receive scene arc, scene ACK, then the last one is ACK, receive ACK. Check. So it's correct. So next is the four-step process of TCP termination session. So send fin, so fin, then arc, receive an arc, then fin, receive fin, then send arc, then receive arc. Check. So all the answers correct. So this is the activity part 2 TCP connection and termination process. So this is the activity TCP, UDP, or both. So I'm going to drag these words to this box. So TCP, HTTP, Telnet, FTP, DCP is DHCP is for UDP, then um, the SMTP is for TCP, SM. So this is the answer I made, and I will check if it is correct. So all answers correct. So this is for the